Yeah, good morning, sir.
Hello.
Good evening. Hello.
Good evening. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize it was 6 o'clock. My alarm didn't sound. I just came in here checking to realize I had missed 6 o'clock. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to class.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Tyro, David.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Abiodun Lawan. All right. So let me quickly. Okay, let's set up the stage together. All right. So let's share. What am I sharing? Let's share. Let's share AWS. All right, guys. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's start. Let's quickly set up our practice server and then connect through SSH and start practicing. All right, so launch instance. This time, let us launch 2 instances, server, mini server. We are going to be transferring files from one server to another server. So let us launch 2 servers. So here will come the R2 there. And then we say use our regular pair class pair and then launch. Yeah, launch. Okay. So that is launching. What do we need from here to set up SSH? I said 2 servers. Okay, I clicked one. All right, so we'll click that and then we say public IP address. And then we'll go to what's the SSH client called? Mobile extension. Mobile. Okay, let me share my mobile extension screen. Share screen. Okay, so session SSH public IP address with the user EC2, and then our key pair. Class key pair. All right, we have everything set up. That is fine. Okay, so let's continue with this. When we need the second one, we'll also set up the second one here, but we already have that set up in cloud. All right, so what are we doing today? Let's call up the notes so we know where we are. What are we doing? Linux, and then okay, so we're doing package installation. All right, that's simple. So and this. All right, guys, I'm ready. Can I see my screen? So we want to do package installation. What do we mean by package installation? So Linux is more like an engine. Linux as a network operating system is like an engine. So what does that mean? That means that it is open. And of course, it's open source. It's open for adaptation. You can literally connect any package to Linux. So what I'm saying is, just like you have an engine, the engine of your car, you can connect your radiator, you can connect your Kickstarter and every other thing that you'd assemble to form the car. So is Linux. All right, it is the engine that runs the system. So for example, you want to now convert your server, that is the system, the virtual machine running the operating system, you want to convert it to web server so that when you place a web page on that server, it will be available to the whole world. So what you do is you install that package that is responsible for converting the server to a web server, right? So that's an example. Another example would be you have a Linux system and you are practicing everything we have done so far, but you are not able to do what they call file transfer, for example. Not file transfer as a protocol, as a service, FTP service, not necessarily copying and pasting. So you would need to install the appropriate service, the appropriate package that will convert that Linux server and make it become an FTP server. For example, you want your Linux server to be NTP server to all other computers on the network. You will need to install. So there are thousands of different packages, and that's essentially what we'll be doing in DevOps. We'll be installing packages like Docker, Kubernetes, Ansible. These are different packages performing different functions. But it is the same Linux engine, the same Linux server that is doing all of that. You can literally run thousands of different packages. In other words, make your Linux server perform thousands of different functions. This server, that server, print server, database server, that server, all of them, because you are applying and installing and configuring the appropriate package. All right, so that's what package is. It is that additional service that you put on your Linux operating system so that your server now have the capacity and capability to perform in that new role. All right. For example, we are going to install one or two services here so that you see what we mean when we say we install package and then we have turned our Linux operating system to. Please put your question down. We'll take it later. Let me just continue with this flow. All right. So what will happen now is that let us install package. So to install a package, there are thousands of them. Let's install 1, 2, 3. The command for Linux operating system. When we say when I say Linux, I actually mean like the Red Hat part of Linux, because there's the other popular distribution, the other popular distro of Linux called Ubuntu, which we'll be using more often after this. All right. So for Red Hat, the command is yum install. Then what package do you want to install? That's it. Yum install. Then you put the name of the package and that's it. But usually before you even install package on a brand new Linux operating system, the first thing you want to do is to say yum update. All right, update. You want to install. So there is something called repository. That is the list of all services that are available within Linux operating system. So the first thing you want to do now is to say, Linux, go fetch the latest version of all the possible services that are compatible with you. Go fetch them and get them ready with you. All right. We'll say yum update and then we'll press enter. all right? You need to be root
Mm-hmm.
to be able to perform any of these tasks. So let's get used to doing sudo, but never mind, even if you forget, it always remind you, all right? So it's either to be root, it's either we say sudo su and become root, or we stay as EC2, but use sudo along the command, all right? So let's not be scared of being root. We have the liberty now, so let's explore this. So it will be, now that we are root, we could do yum update. And then it would ask you, are you sure you want to update? These are the possibilities. 6 packages for update and so on and so forth. You always say yes. Why for yes? All right. So the system is updating its repository, its list of services. Most of them will be running in the background as demo, but everything is upgraded now. If you want, you can see the list of all of the services available. All right, but before then, let's first install. All right, so if you wanted to automate the system so that you don't have to provide the answer yes for any installation, you could just do yum update, then you just provide the answer -y, so that it will not ask you that question, do you want to continue? When it comes to that question, it will just take y for itself and continue. All right, so we'll be using y most of the time so that we don't have to answer that question. So yum update -y will tell you, oh, I just completed an update. There's nothing more to update, so now up to date. All right. You wanted to remove a particular package, you can do that. Then sometimes as well, not often, you may also, sometimes because you are going to run, naturally you run into issues in IT. It's not like
Hello,
sometimes,
sir.
yeah.
I'm sorry to bother you. Can you come again with that? I missed the pattern.
Yeah, so let's continue. Once the flow broke, I will miss so many things that I really want to pass across. It's about the last class. Yeah. So just let me flow so I can give you as much as possible. All right, so yum update, you could also do yum upgrade. It's not like an option, but sometimes it is necessary to upgrade the entire system. Upgrade. So update will just fetch the services to your repository so that you have the latest, but upgrade is like what it means, upgrade. Well, it's not all the time. Occasionally, you have issues that your Linux cannot resolve because you need to upgrade the versions of the services, not the operating system, not Linux itself. All right. But just know this: occasionally, we'll be needing it to solve issues, to resolve issues. Sometimes you are putting one command, you are trying, things are not just working. But once you upgrade and you get the latest version of that specific service, everything just works. And all right. All right, so these are powerful commands, but the update you would need regularly. Whenever you want to install a new service on a Linux system, you form the habit of, first of all, updating. Otherwise, you might run into issues. All right, so what is the command now to find out what the repository is like? The command is repository manager RPM -query or QA. So this is the command to give you, right? So that was a long list, right? Remember your more or less. All right. So you could like is the equivalent of scrolling arrow down, or page by page. You could do more, that's page by page, but don't even worry about that. Let's just say word counts. Remember WC? So it tells you that there are 453 lines like this that is displayed on the repository. So this is a service running in the background of Linux as a daemon. This is another service. This is another package. That is another one. All together, we have 453 of them on this particular system. It's not unusual to have up to 1,000 and more, depending on how many services you are running on the system. The more, remember I told you, it's almost unlimited, the number of services you can run. So the more you install services and the more the older this system is, the more it's likely that this figure goes up, right? So this is the repository manager querying your entire repository and saying, what do I have here? If you wanted to find out if you have a particular service installed on this system, for example, I want to find out, is this system okay, let's do NTP. Is this system an NTP server? In other words, is the NTP service or package, better called service, package, is it installed on this system and running? The command will be query the entire repository and tell me, remember grep, if the system NTP is running. And then press enter, it tells you no. The command is good, but it's not running. Okay, is this server a web server? How do I find out? Check the entire repository, arrow, repository manager, minus QA, then grep for what? Grep for this, the service, the package that makes a system a web server, at least at this level, is called HTTPD daemon. It runs in the background. So to find out if this system is a web, if this Linux engine has been installed with a web server and a web service, for example, HTTPD, and therefore it's a web server, this is the command. If I press enter now, if I press enter now, nothing returns. So it means that no, it is not there. It's not a web server. Is this an FTP server? And so on and so forth. There are many, there are thousands of them. All right. So now that we have found out that this is neither, okay, let's start with NTP. We found out that this is not an NTP server. To make this system an NTP server, all we need to do is install and configure the NTP package. Right? Now let's do that. And then after that, I'll take a break. You can ask a question. So let's install. I already found out. Okay, let's find out again if NTP is already there so that we don't just go repeating what we already have. The command is repository manager minus QA.
Grep.
If I don't grep, it will show me a lot of over 400 lists of services. I really want the specific one that I'm looking for. So I filter. Command to filter is grep for NTP. Right? That tells me that it's not already installed, because if it was installed, I will see it. All right. Now let's install the first service just to learn how services work, or the first package. In cloud, they are called services. In Linux, it's called package. Yes. All right. So let us do it. Now that we know that it's not installed, the command to always install is the same thing. All of the packages you'll be installing, and you'll be installing a lot of packages. All of them is always your install, then the name of the package. Job install. If we were not operating as root, then we'll be doing sudo job install. All right. So since we're operating as root, job install, in this case, this package NTP. So we'll say job install NTP. All right. And then we'll say press enter, and that's it. And then because we didn't say tick yes for, whenever this question comes up, we now have to manually supply Y for it. All right. So what does it say?
Succeed.
All right. Running transaction, installing that, verify that. So your NTP is now installed, and that is the installed NTP. All right. So if you now do query one more time, if you do query, you're going to see that NTP is now installed. It's giving you result. All right. Now that your NTP is installed, the next thing you want to do that you should, this is the template for installation. The next thing that should follow after you install is to look for the configuration file. For every service, there is a configuration file. That's where your work actually starts. There is a configuration file for every service. So in the case of NTP, let us find out, let us look for the configuration file and see if it's necessary to configure it, to edit it. All right? You remember that configuration files for Linux OS are saved in a particular directory? What's the name of that directory?
etc.
etc.
Etc. Yeah. So this is where to go. That's where to go. I'm looking for a configuration file for this service. So the place to go is cd etc. This is where I'll find it. If I do ls -la, I'm going to find a long list. So filtering will be easier, right? And because it's a configuration file, the configuration file usually would end with conf.conf. Yeah, the files end with .conf. So what file am I looking for here? I'm not sure, to be well, I do know, but for you are not sure. So why don't you just do something like ls -la? But another form of switch instead of LA would be LTR. It means give me the timing of the service in reverse order. In other words, instead of me scrolling up and down looking for what I just added, what I just installed, it will naturally come to me at the bottom. So I will not have to be looking up and down. So that's the meaning of TR, right? Basically saying the last entry. I mean, the last entry should be at the bottom of the list, so I don't have to be scrolling up and down. Yeah. All right. So that's only a switch. So this time I'm going to say, give me, you know the meaning of this? Your white card. Star means everything, all names. Give me all files that end with config. For example, let's see, config. All right. So let's see. Okay, that's not working. .conf. Let's try conf. All right, conf. So this is essentially saying, and that's the result, give me all files that end with the extension conf. So that's the meaning of star. Anywhere you see star as a wildcard, it gives me everything ending with extension conf. All right. So I mean this. So if you want, you can manually search, but that's not efficient. You just want to get the file right away. If we manually search, do we see NTF? What are we looking for? The configuration file for NTP. Anything like that? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Did you see it?
Yes.
Okay. But if you were not observant,
I think if we take out the fee or conf, is gonna give us the NTP at the bottom.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. So let's say now this is a list of 100 and you can't keep looking manually, which is not efficient anyway. I'm just doing this to show you that that works. So specifically for NTP, you are going to say, give me the list, and then this time you are grepping. What are you grepping for? NTP. There are some. The reason I didn't do this right away is I'm assuming that you do not know the name of the configuration file. But now that you know the name of the configuration, at least you have an idea. You could do NTP. Even if you don't have, you could use wildcard. Well, let's not complicate it. NTP.com. All right. NTP. Grep. All right. So it gives you that one specifically. And you don't have to scroll through 700 files to get what you're looking for. All right, so I'm deliberately revising all this so that you see the relevance of all the commands that you have mentioned. All right, so this is the configuration file. So every time you install a service has its own configuration file. Sometimes it's necessary to go in there and see specifically what you want to achieve and put it in the configuration file. In this case, let's go in there. And then because this is this file belongs to root, so you need to be root to be able to access this file. All right. So whether use sudo or we are root. Fortunately, we are already root, so we just go vi or nano or whatever you want to use. And what? this file.
The name of the file.
Off time, you are going to see what a configuration file is. This is a configuration file. This is where you'll be working most of the configuration file. All right. So let's just take a look. When you have a configuration file like this that you want to edit, even though you are not a programmer or a coder, you should understand that the hash sign means that this line is a comment. It's not a command for the configuration. It's just a comment for your own understanding as the user. Record of the frequency of the system clock. So NTP is actually a clock. It's a clock. It's a clock that you connect to, all right? And so on and so forth, blah, 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 blah. So these are the commands. These are the configurations that the service work according to, right? That's a command, this is a command, this is a command. Don't mess up your configuration file. In fact, what is advised at this level is that you back up your configuration file so that in case you mess up the original one, you can always call the backup. Done that before? Okay, I'll show you how to do it. All right, but in this particular case, let me just show you how to back up configuration files. All right, so let me exit without saving, quit, back. All right, ls -la. So this is the name of the configuration file. So to back this up, I'm going to say copy this file. In other words, make a copy of that file, and then name the new one, this file .back, for example. All right. So now I have 2 copies of the same file. Original copy, backup copy. So since we are still learning, if I mess this up, I can always revert to this. How do I revert to the old one? Reverting to the old one will simply mean coming back here and saying move, or I can do copy or move, and do copy again. Then this old one now to the new one. Okay, let's do it. So let's delete this file. Let's delete this file because I messed it up. I put a comma where I shouldn't have put it. So I'll now say remove the file, right? Remove ntp.com. Dots. All right. Are you sure you want to remove that? Okay. This is a configuration file. It's not a good practice at all, but just for practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now that that file is gone, I'll now make my backup the new NTP config. How do I do that?
Move.
Copy or move, yeah. So copy, that's this way you are using your copy and your copy. Copy the old one, I mean the backup one,
Back.
and make it the current one.
No.
Awesome. That's it. So if I now do grep, I'm going to see that the file that I deleted.
Stay.
All right. So that's how to back up your configuration. It used to be an example. Configuration, your files generally, but specifically is useful for configuration. Now let's go into the configuration file via ntp.com. Yeah, I'm looking for a shortcut. Oh, I'm already in.
This is new. This is another one.
Let me exit. They keep distracting us, but okay. So let's go back. Exit. Don't save anything. Quit. Bang. All right. So yeah, this is new. So what I want is to vi this file. So vi that file.
ntp.com.
All right. So nothing's really necessary to change here, but there's no need to waste time. No, this is old school. It's just for the purpose of showing you how to come into a configuration file. I'm not going to change anything here. It'll be a waste of time trying to shift. All right, so I escape after. If I have to edit anything, I save. If I want to save, I say save. If I don't want to save, I don't say W, but in this case, I don't save. All right, so that is how to go into a configuration file and modify a configuration file. Don't worry, didn't it? Yeah,
You'll be able to edit one or two configuration files. But this one being the first one, I just showed you how to go into a configuration file. All right. So the next thing you want to do after you have installed a service and you have modified the configuration file, you must restart that service for Linux to be aware that you have installed that service and be able to work with it. All right. What service have we just installed? NTTP. No, NTP.
NTP.
So to restart this particular service, to restart service, generally the command is system CTL. Be using this a lot because you'll be installing lots of services a lot. Restart or start. Whether you say start or you say restart is the same thing. System CTL start. What's the name of the service? NTTP. So
NTP.
NTP. Usually, the name of the service will come with D. NTP D. All right.
Okay.
The name of the service will come with D, meaning, I mean, almost general. I think one or two cases where it doesn't come with D. All right. I told you the meaning of D. It means a service running in the background. So we say, I have installed NTP. I have configured NTP. Linux, be aware. Restart the system so that you can grab a copy and be aware of it. So I press enter and it is done. Okay. If I now say system CTL status of this service, NTTPD, sorry, why am I getting NTPD is going to tell me that yes, you do have a service installed and it is now active and running. So this is how you know the status of the service. All right, you restarted it. You started the service, and that's why it's active. Next time, remind me not to check the status before we. All right, remind me to check the status before we, so that you see when it's not active before we start the service. All right, so if this was your permanent system and you wanted to make sure that, hold on, and you wanted to make sure that this service would always come up anytime the system starts so that you don't have to manually start it, then you want to say system CTL enable service. What's the name of the service? NTTP, NTPD. So this one starts the service. This one ensures that the service is now permanently on so that every time you start the system, you don't have to repeat start. You automatically start the system. All right. So now we have enabled the service and Linux is now aware and the service is now on. Yeah, so that is it. You have installed, configured, and enabled the NTP service in Linux. Awesome. Yes, questions now? Yeah. All right, so the questions you wanted to ask up, you have the answers now.
Hello?
Yeah.
So are there some times when there are some systems that you don't need to install the NTP that you might be on the computer you're using? Is there any scenarios of such that you don't need to
just find out?
Check?
Just find, we cannot generalize, just check. Is it already installed or not? Remember how to check?
Yeah.
Our repository manager, minus and then check rep for, then what is it?
The
NT,
name of the
yeah, NTP. Okay. All right, so that's the best way. We cannot generalize to say, but if you leave me, I will say who will install it if somebody did not install it. So to find, because it's a server operating system, many people are using it, many administrators. This is the best way to find out already. All right.
So do we have to seed it into ETC to be able to install this program?
No, to install, you can install from anywhere. It is only when you need to configure the configuration file, to modify the configuration file.
Okay.
You must, you'll find it in X.
All right.
right? We just happen to be here because we have been from. All right. Okay, so let's do something more. That was just a welcome to the field. Let's do something more. What's the word now? More practical. I can actually test to see if it works. Although your note has the test for this. All right, so let's install another service. To make your, okay, let me show you something. So remember that this is only an SSH into a server in cloud. Let's go to the server in cloud and get the IP address. This is actually the IP address, but you're not used to that. Let's go to cloud. So let's not cloud. Are you seeing my cloud? Are you seeing the AWS console?
No.
Sorry.
We're on public.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So let's go to our instance, and then let's take this server. Let's call this one server 1. Server 1. And then we'll call this server 2. And then we'll get the IP address of server 1. We'll copy that as a public IP address. Right? Go to our browser. Can you see my browser?
Not yet.
Yes.
You see me paste the IP address, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I press enter, so I'm saying, go enter this server and grab a web page. Because when I say HTTP, it means a web page. But this server is not a web server, so I'm not going to get results. So how then do I make this server a web server? That's what we're going to do. Please, if I keep echoing on me, just if you know I'm echoing from your side, mute yourself. All right, so this is what a non-web server looks like when you are trying to browse it. So they complain to you, or maybe you had a meeting in the morning and they say, okay, we need to set up a web server so that our customers, our clients, our contractors will be able to see these pages every morning instead of us having to email each of them this info. All right. You see, that's not a problem. I can do something on the server so that whatever you put there will not be available to everyone through the browser. When we say browser, this is actually what HTTP. All right, let's go and do that. And then by the time we come here, we'll see that we are no longer getting error. We are not able to reach it because it's a web server. Right now, it's not a web server. Okay. So to make that system a web server, we are going to install web service. So we'll go to share. All right. So let's do it. To install web service, what do we do? The service is HTTPD. So let's find out, is it already installed? So to find out if it's already installed, the command is
RPM
HTTP
D.
Right? It's not installed. It's not installed. All right, so let's quickly install.
Excuse me, what is NTP? I'm sorry, I don't know if you have done it before. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a time server, network time protocol.
Okay, network time protocol.
Yeah.
Thank
you. You can make your server a web server so that all systems connected to that server will be pulling their time from there, their correct timing from your server.
Yeah, thank you.
If your server is a New York server, all systems connected to that system will be New York time. All right. So,
install.
Okay, we're going to install HTTPD, right? So yeah, so the command will be yum install. But since we already root, we'll just do yum install, not sudo. Yum install. The name of the package is HTTPD. and it's going to ask us, should I continue or not? Let's provide the answer right away.
Yes.
All right. HTTPD is now installed. And just by the installation of the HTTPD, you already have a web server. That is it. The system is now a web server. But at interview, you say you don't know HTTPD and how to install it. It's like you don't know anything. How can you not know? Meanwhile, the practice is just one. That's it. That's it. It's done. As a matter of fact, let's go back and let's go back and let's go back and so
Could we check if it's enabled?
I'm trying to share my screen. Share screen. Okay. I need my screen now. Yeah. All right. All right. So just by the installation of HTTPD, our Linux server has become a web server. All right. So if we browse here, we should be able to connect through that port and show us whatever it is. Anyway, the reason it's not connecting now, I'll not. We'll do that in cloud, but I'll just enable HTTP now. So we'll go to instance, we'll go to that particular server, and then we'll go to the security. That particular server, I'll go to security. Then we'll go to security group, and we'll say, please allow HTTP to be able to come into this server. So allow HTTP. In fact, let me just allow traffic so that I don't get. All right, from everywhere, from anywhere, everywhere, anywhere. All right. So since HTTP port is no longer being blocked, and access is now given from the internet to this server, let us see. Oh, okay. We have not restarted the service. We just installed it, but we have not restarted.
I was
so
about
Linux
to
is
say
now
that.
on.
And you need to enable. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go on. All right. So now that give me 1 second.
You install
And now that we've installed, what's the next thing to do?
system start HTTPD.
All right. So after installation, what's the next thing?
Start
use the manual.
Start it.
What about the configuration file? Let's look for the configuration file.
Okay.
All right. So we're already in SC, ls -la. Too long. What do we do?
ls.
You want to grab for something particular?
ls-ltr. Then you grab the name of the HTTP.
Okay, so let's look for ls LTR. Then not everything. Grab for HTTPD, right? Yeah. So yes, that is installed, or specifically for HT and deal with anything but the configuration file. Is that what you want? Config. I'm not sure. Okay. So HTTP D on. Is it not there? What are we? Config. Okay. Let's look for it. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, it's not common, but like we always say, that's why it's hard to generalize. This particular case, the HTTPD file is somewhere else, not directly here. All right. So the configuration file is not directly here. So where is this configuration file? It's actually in this place. And you see that? That's where it is. So let's go into that. Does not make sense because that's what we're looking for. That's a directory, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go into that because that's the closest thing to what we're looking for. We have searched all these other ones, they are not there. Oh, you are not seeing my thing.
So
Alright,
it looks
so-
like it doesn't have. It looks like it doesn't have the .conf where it was
okay.
listed there.
Yeah, we'll find it inside here. So let's go into HTTPD. All right, so we're inside HTTPD now, right?
Okay.
So we're looking for our configuration file. ls-la. This is conf. But in this place is a directory. So let's go into it. cd conf. All right. ls-la. So this is what we were looking for. This is where it is hidden. Mhm. So let's vi into it and see vi into httpd.com. All right. This is the configuration file. Now, the idea is not for us to come here and begin to learn configuration file. No. I'm just telling you that this is the configuration file. All right. You see that most of the configuration file is not so hard to edit because it explains itself. It tells you this is this, this is this. If you want to do this, this is what to do. Yeah, you read everything. And they are all comments. All right. So the first place here is telling you that this file is in that directory. Right. So let's go. And then that it will be listening port. This protocol will be listening through port 80, which is the regular thing. If you wanted to change it from the default port 80 to something else, this is where to come. All right. And then include configuration module. Part of the configuration. But again, one more time, there is nothing actually for me to change here. I want to keep everything as it is, default state. Again, if you wanted to change something, if you are some expert who knows what you really want and you want to change something, this is the place to change something. But for our case, we are not changing anything. So we'll just escape and then we'll quit, we'll start saving. All right. So incidentally, there was nothing to do there for this lecture. So having completed that step of editing or modifying the configuration file, what's the next thing you want to do?
Start it.
We enable.
We restart the service.
Start it first.
We start first. So how do you start the service? System, CTL,
TTL,
Start.
restart.
what's the name of it?
Let's check the status before you restart.
Okay. System CTL status of
Start.
HTTPD. HTTPD is disabled. It's not active.
Okay.
All right. Good. So active, inactive.
We have to enable.
Then yeah. So just to confirm, I told you to remind me to do that. All right. So let's quickly restart the service.
Can you say start or you have to be restart?
Both of them work.
Okay.
Any of them. So start HTTPD, and then if you now do status, it changed from dead to active. All right. So we want to enable so that next time you start the system, although we don't really need it here because our server is going on, but it's a good practice to
System enable.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So our service is fine now. So we should be able to browse now. So let's go and see if our HTTPD is working. In other words, if our Linux server is now also our web server, and then we're not able to use it again. All right. So we go to share. We go to my browser. Right. Can you see my browser now?
Yes.
Let's refresh. Awesome. So our page is what? We have converted our Linux server to web server.
Wow.
This is the test page. You can see this, if you remember. If you can see this test page, this page is used to test the proper operation of your HTTP server after it has been installed. If you can read this page, it means that your HTTP server is now installed and working.
So, Mr. Ake,
Yes.
how do you change from the IPS to name the server?
You are echoing, or we're not hearing you.
That's not from me. How do you change from the IP address?
Okay, let me mute the person itself. Let me mute everybody, and then you can. All right, you can mute yourself now.
Okay. I said, how do you change from the IP address to be able to name the HTTP?
To put a domain name here, that way.
Right, correct.
Yeah, are you doing cloud? Are you doing AWS?
Not yet. But I registered already. So.
Yeah, you learned that in AWS.
Okay, so.
Yeah. It's called RAF. That topic is called RAF 53. You do RAF 53 in AWS. You're able to replace this with the domain name. Yes?
Sorry, sir, you say it's called what?
Route 53 and GoDaddy.
Not GoDaddy, Route 53. This service is called Route 53 in AWS. We'll be doing it in AWS.
Route 53.
All right, so let's go back to class. Now, what we want to do now is, let us change this. This is the default page that tells you your stuff is working, right? Let us change this default page. Let's put something, even if it's a simple HTML file to say, welcome to class or hello world. Let's go and change something. All right, let's go there. Let's go back to our lab.
Configuration file.
Yeah. Okay, you can see that, right? So to do that, because this is to change our default web page, the directory where our default web page is saved is cd var. For the first time, we are going to a different directory. /var. All right. And then when you get into var ls minus la, you are going to see a directory called ... This is the directory for web pages. You say cd ... And then what do we have in there? ls minus la. You see HTML. Is that not what we want to do? So we say cd HTML. And then when we get here, what do we have? ls minus la. Nothing. Now let us create our default home page. So the home page is the first page of your website that your browser will fetch. And the default name, one of the most common default name for your home page is index. In this case, it's an HTML file, so we'll call it .html. I think I'm too fast for some people. If you are doing cloud, this one will become clearer here. But basically, I'm saying that there have to be at least one page in your website. And the name of that, the first page on your website is index.html. That's the spelling. Okay, let us put something here. So maybe with VI, or we'll just do echo or something. We'll just do VI, since today's for VI. Okay. So let's put anything. HTML is not your work. There are web page developers, UI, user interface stroke user experience experts that would do all of this and come up with beautiful web pages. But you are just an engineer and just want to show them that your web server is working. Web department, you cannot have it and go and put your web pages. So let's just put anything here. This is only, okay, let's just say hello world.
Welcome to our pages.
Okay, welcome to, all right, you are done with that. Escape, save, quit, back, and that is it. That is it. You have changed your default web page. All right. So let us go and see if that, this is just a file. I don't need to configure anything. Let's go and see if that works. So let's share, then go to our browser. It's our browser. Okay. All right, so this is our browser, right? So we fetched this one because we didn't have anything. Now that we have something, let's refresh it. Awesome. So welcome to our page. So with this test, you can now, you are only a solutions architect. So you have architected the infrastructure, in this case, the server that will host the website. So tell the department that their server is ready and they will take over from you. All right. So this is how to install a service. We have just installed and tested our web server.
So is this how people build website?
This is how the engineer behind the server prepares the server for websites. This is not the beauty of website. Did you get that?
I did. It's like, yeah, bringing all the infrastructures together.
Yes. So this is how the infrastructure that hosts website is built. At least part of this test, part of the many steps, maybe not everything. But yeah, any other question?
But this static website, like
this, what
is it called? This like this structure, is it called like a static website where it can go from page to page? It just gives you one page saying yes, the infrastructure.
It could be used to host static or even dynamic website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Akin,
yeah.
Is this part of DevOps or is just Linux?
No, this is not part of DevOps. This is Linux.
Okay,
but once you know these ones, DevOps becomes so easy because we have to agree.
Okay.
This is Linux.
Okay. Yeah. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you just did now, does this mean that we can link up our Git? That when we are, if we are writing a code, automatically it updates through this server, and clients can see the end product immediately.
No. This is not a version control system. This is a different way of this HTTP. But you can install your version control system, for example, JIT, the same way. You install JIT and then you configure, the same process of installation, but it's a different service. That one is a different service.
But sir, excuse me, one more thing. A programmer can simply develop his website just the way you did now from this mobile extent.
Mobile extent?
This is not from mobile extent.
No.
No, I didn't get the question.
See, now from the server, you set up the HTTP and you wrote a text to a web page. Now, for instance, can I redesign this welcome to our page?
Okay, yeah.
He's talking about HTML commands.
Yes.
Scripting, HTML scripting to give it some colors and design.
Yeah. I mean, we can go back to our HTML page and copy some code from Google, paste there and everything. But
so you mean if we copy like the page that you just edit now from VI, if they copy pictures and put it there, probably installed web.
We'll do that in AWS. Don't worry about it. You'll do something very beautiful that will come out. Even you'll be surprised to that. But basically, your question actually, let me remind you of something. What we are developing and what we are interested in here is not just the website. Website is just the front end, the user interface part of our application. What we are genuinely interested in as DevOps engineers and IT people is the full stack application that is made up of the front end server, which you just created now. You think that is the end of the world. No, that's just then the back end server, which is where the real application runs. All your Java codes, your Python codes, the real work that you employed 300 developers to do would be in the back end server. And then, of course, you have your database. So all of these three must be working together, integrated, secured, highly available together for you to now say you have a suitable infrastructure for your application. So it is not as simple as just putting a beautiful front-end web page and you feel that you have arrived. No. What determines the nature of the home of the web page is the application itself, which is at the back end. If, for example, the application at the back end requires that I collect date of birth, SSN, and address from the client in order to process something from them, that is when I now know that, okay, my front end should have a form that would pick those information, submit it to the back end for processing. Back end will process and save to the database before we can now fetch the request of the user. I don't know if all of this is making sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
look beyond just a website that is beautiful that has form. Look at the big picture of a whole full stack application like Uber, like what other application is common?
Lyft.
Lyft. I mean, delivery applications, taxi applications, dating applications. Airbnb, yeah, this kind of application. So they are not just website. The website part of it is just to enable you enter your info. The real application is the back-end application, and that is the people you'll be supporting as a DevOps engineer. All right. So when you say, how do you create website? Is it going to be beautiful? Can we edit HTML? That is just like 10, in fact, 0.5% of the whole work. 90% of the work is the place that connects to the front end using APIs. That is where the real work is. If it was just as simple as only one-faced application like a website, nobody will be here. In 3 days, we're done. Everybody will go. So it is the ability to connect with these people, take all of their codes, build them into an application, deploy them to your infrastructure in containerized form, not even a whole server, where one server, just a whole server, a single server can hold as many as 100 different applications, full-fledged applications, so like Airbnb. It is at that level now that we are saying yes. Yeah, this one is just we're just started. We haven't even started. We're just doing rehearsal. So don't be carried away with the fact that we set up the server.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
The road is still long.
Yeah, the road. In fact, we are just doing on your mark. That's what we are doing now. When we say get set, by the time we say go, we'll go to cloud, and then we'll just show you. We'll just take you around cloud and show you stuff. This is EC2. This is a database. This is Route 53. If you want to put something so that it's globally available, this cloud front. This is, we just show you around. By the time you now get to Docker, you are talking about containerization, where you can literally create your own cloud from your own laptop. And you are wondering, why do I even need to go to cloud? I can create all of these things by myself using the concept of Kubernetes. That is when you know that, yes, you're in IT. That is when you know that you're in IT.
We'll get there.
So, but this is a good start though, because once this one is right, then without this, all those other areas will be shaky. We'll go to Docker, I'll have to teach you Docker and commands all over again. We'll go to Kubernetes, I teach you all over again. We'll go to Ansible. But once this one is really, really strong, I will not need to teach you all of those. I'll just be entering the command and it will just make sense to you. You just understand that, even though I'm doing RB instead of RD, you understand, okay, it is because it's bucket. Everything just makes sense. So the ride will be smooth. So that's why we are spending time to really ensure that. And like somebody observed, this part of learning that we are doing today and beyond is actually now getting to the part where we'll be using often at those high level. And that's why somebody was saying, are we already in DevOps? Because he probably is familiar with it. Yeah. So this is the real Linux. All the make directory, change directory, copy files. You just learn them. This is the place where you really start to use. This is for the big boys, not for. So if you are still comfortable at this level, then welcome to IT. But if you are not, then it just means that you need to watch the video over and over. You don't have to be the first one.
Big boys with big money.
You have girls, you have ladies here too, so don't.
Hey.
Not just for boys.
No, they understand. I
Don't
mean,
look for trouble.
big, all of us.
Mr. Akin,
yeah.
Your cloud class, the AWS cloud class, is it going to be will you be teaching it from a CLI perspective, from a
No,
GUI
it's mostly console, then a little bit of CLI using AWS.
All right.
Mostly console.
All right.
Then what you'll be doing from CLI completely almost without console is when you get to infrastructure as code.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry to also bring this up, since somebody have already brought the question related to AWS. So, Mr. King, for those of us that are still Mac user, is there anything that we need to be aware of prior to that class so we can prepare accordingly?
For AWS?
There is no need. Yes, for AWS, yes.
No, once you have managed with Linux, you don't need any other thing on top of that. The same,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome.
The
Thank
same,
you, sir.
the same interface that works for you in Linux, we'll use it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Let's come back to class. Now let's talk about scripting. Let me show you how to script. So let's switch user to EC2. Okay, so a script is basically a way of
screen is
automating.
not show.
You're not seeing your page, sir.
Okay, so yeah. All right. Can you see this?
Yes.
All right. Let's just do scripting so that talk less. So if I do which bash, this tells me that this is the directory where my bash script is supported. Bin bash. All right. So in fact, what can I do now? Let's use the other server because we already have a web server here. Let us automate the process of deploying a web server on a new server. All right. So that you appreciate what's scripting. So let me go. Okay. So you remember we have two servers here, right? We just use this one now. Let us use this one. So let's get the IP address of this one. Public IP address. Let's go and set up SSH connection to this new one. So share. All right. So while this one is still on, we'll create a new session, another session. This is one of the reasons I like. All right. EC2 user, EC2 user, and then advanced settings. What's up? Okay, class was there already. Class click. Okay. All right. Awesome. Yeah.
So sorry, Sato. Can we still use the same KPI for both of them?
Yeah, you can use your KPI as often as many times as possible. In fact, I recommend it. All right. So this one is not a web server, you know. This is a brand new server that just came up.
The second one.
The second one, yes. So let us automate the process. Please, your echo. What we did on the other one, let's use scripting. So let us use scripting. Who is Abola? I've been letting you in so many times, and what's going on with you? Abola, or was that wrongly spelled? Okay. Okay, so yes, wanted to do scripting, right? So the way to do this is to So let's call the name, let's create a file. Let's call the file ITern script. Or not ITern, let's call it a web server. All right. So your script must end as .sh, .shell. So that is number one rule. Your script, your script file must end as .sh. So in this case, the name of our script is web server script. I just gave it a name to help you remember that the job of this script is to create a web server, right? So let us veer into it. And then what are we working on? We don't need to use sudo since we are working with it, right? So VI. Now, we are going to automate the commands that we should have entered manually. We are going to enter everything now to create a web page. What are the commands? We go into, to create a web server. We go into the system and we do sudo su to become root. And then we do yum update, remember? Are you still here? Yeah, if you don't have echo in your background, mute.
Yes, we're here.
We're here. Okay. So do you remember this set of commands?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So who can tell me the next thing to do now in order to create a
yum install?
Correct. Yes, yum install what?
Web server.
-1.
Web server, what's the
Yum install
package for web server?
HTTPD.
All right. You
-1.
must add -y because it's a script. You will not be waiting for you to come and do.
Okay.
All right. So what's the next thing after it is installed?
Started.
To restart. Awesome. Somebody's calling. System CTL restart.
Restart HTTPD.
Restart HTTPD. I'm not comfortable with this. Okay. All right. Then after restart, what do you want to do?
Enable.
Enable.
System CTL.
Enable. HTTPD, right? And then what do you want to do?
We put whatever we want on it.
On what?
Echo.
Where are we putting echo? What are we doing?
To put the words wherever we need on the page, on the web page.
Okay, on the web page, on the whole page. Awesome.
I did it to create and populate the document.
Yes, so that page. Do you remember the default page for?
That should be index.html.
Yeah, the name of the file is
var.html.
Okay. Where is it located?
www.
Right. Yeah, you guys try. Oh, sorry, I'm inside. Okay, let's so var.www.
HTML
index.html. All right, that's it, right? Correct, right?
Yes.
All right, so what do we want to have inside? What are we sending to that file?
Hello world.
Hello world. Wow. Where's my insert? Oh. What am I doing? What am I replacing?
Quick question, Mr.
Okay.
Akin.
Yeah, please hold on. Please hold on. Let's repeat. So echo hello world to what now? To then what?
VAR.
Track.
www. HTML.
All right. Yes, your question now.
Yeah, I was gonna ask on mobile XM, is there a difference between using // and // for
No, there's difference though.
Yeah.
Backward
so,
is backward, forward is forward. Yeah.
So in this case,
Oh.
using forward slash, should it be backward or forward?
This is for this is backward slash. Is this what you mean? This one?
Yes.
Yeah, this is backward.
This is forward slash.
Forward slash.
Oh, this is forward. Okay, sorry about that. This is forward slash. Okay. So forward slash is forward slash. We are saying that if we use this, it's not the same thing. No?
Yeah. So I'm just wondering which one we should be using, whether forward slash or backward slash. But I guess
now you are confusing me now because there's only this one. Have I used another type before?
No.
I don't even know what to call it, whether it's backward or forward. So you guys say this is backward.
It's forward.
Forward. This
That's
forward.
forward. Yeah, that's forward. Yeah. All right. So this is a script. So a script basically you enter your command in such a way that you don't have to have a human intervention because it knows what to do. To just do this, and once that is done, it does this. Once that is done, so there's no way it is waiting for you to make an input before it continues. All right. So that is the idea. Hello world. Let's add something. Hello world. Wow. Okay. And then send it. You see how your echo is useful now to that file. All right. So let's save. Save. It is saved now. So what do we have? ls minus la. So we do have a file. Where's the file? Ending with .sh. So that tells me that this is a script. All right. And then, of course, we just saw what's inside cat. All right. Now, the next thing I want to do to run this script. Let me look at this script. This script is an executable file, or at least it should be an executable file. But look at this place. Does it show anything executable?
No.
No.
Does it show anything executable? So let's make this script executable file so that we can run it. If we run it now, it will not work because it's not executable.
Okay.
Who can tell me how to make this script an executable file?
Key mode 777.
Chmod. Awesome. So even remember Chmod. It's good. Chmod. Then what?
777.
776.
At least 7.
7-1.
This one is executable.
761.
Okay, 761. Let's retain what's there.
No, 764. I'm sorry.
764.
Yeah, 764.
Yeah, or at least maybe 774. All right, for which file?
Web server.
Web server. That's what.
Yes. Awesome. This is good. ls minus la. We see that it's now executable, so we can run it now. So that is how to write a script. So what do we expect? We expect that once we run this script, it will perform the task that we have defined within the script. And automatically, it will not only make that server a web server, it will also put this on the page. All right, let's try it. Let's try. Let's try. ls minus la. So how do we call the file? So to call the file now, you are going to say sudo bash. That's how to call a script. Sudo bash, then the name of the script. So this is the command. All right, let's try. Root. All right, then switch user to EC2 user. All right, I'm not sure if anything happened. Okay, let's go and check. So let's go to. I should have seen something. Okay, let's go. We'll come back and troubleshoot. So, so let's go and check our browser to see if it's not a web browser. So where's my AWS? All right, so this is the public address of the. We're talking about server 2. This is server 2, right?
Yes.
So let's take the public address. Control-C. Then let's browse it. Control-V. to port 80 automatically. All right, let's make sure we open the port 80 port for that one. Let's quickly go there. For the server security group. Yeah, all port was open. It's the same security group. Okay. So all port open bound. Yeah, that's correct. So it's not that problem. We didn't do something right. Let's go and check our script. It's not working. Okay, so let's go and check our script. Share.
Hello?
Okay, so let's check. Okay, let's check. So web server script.sh, and what do we have there? vi web server script.sh. Let's look at the script. What do you? Okay. Oh,
Sad.
there's something we didn't do. There's something we didn't do.
The bean bash.
Yes, there's something we didn't do. This file would never be recognized as a script without something on the top. So let's go. So insert. So we go to the very top. You guys stay with me? We must put she bang /bin. That was what we did which the first time /bash. Very, in fact, more important than anything else. So your script, your bash script must start with this sign. She bang bin bash. Did you get it? So that's the part we missed. Hopefully that's the only part. Let's look around. Do you observe any other thing? Sudo. All right, very important. She bang bin bash. All right, so we made that correction. We save, we exit, and then, all right. So let's try one more time to run the file. It's already executable, so let's just run it. And the command is sudo bash, then control. All right. Switch user to EC2. Doesn't still appear to work. Let's come back and troubleshoot. That's what it check. No. So what's the error this time? Let's check. Okay. So let me just copy my script here, just in case there was an error. Let me share my document. Share. Share screen. All right. So this is your note. Let's copy from your notes instead of writing manual. So this is the script. Let's copy this. Just in case that's where the error came from. Control C. Then we'll go to our bin bash here. vi what? Let's remove everything and do and paste. Maybe. Okay, insert. Insert, then delete everything. And then paste. All right.
Is there a difference between system CTL restart and system CTL restart?
We've answered that 2 times already today. Same thing. All right, so let's run. So we have a so let's run the command again. Sudo what? Sudo bin bash. Control C. Okay, so switch user to EC to sudo bash Is the file name correct?
Yes, web server underscore scripts.
Okay. Let's quickly check. I'm sure it's still not working, then we'll come back. This, not working. Okay, let's change, let's do tree mode 776 that I used before.
We should have the right IP address.
Let's confirm that. Let's pick for the instance server 2, that is server 2, public IP address. Yes, that's the correct IP address. Control V. All right. Let's try tree mode 776. 760 instead of 77. Maybe it's forbidding 77. Okay, let's try. What do we have here? We had where's my tree mode?
But sir, on your mobile X term. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, tree mode. Let's do switch user to EC2 user, and then ls minus LA. The file belongs to this gmod 766 for which file?
Sudo.
Yes, sudo. For web server. Okay. So call the file ls minus LA. It's executable. Okay, so to call the file is sudo what? Bash. Then name of the file. This is the name of the file. All right.
No, .h. You didn't put the she.
Oh,
You
okay.
missed the H.
Yeah. All right. Switch user to EC2. Okay. So I don't know. Let's troubleshoot. Let's see if it should run on the screen. What's not working? Let's check. Let me just go through the security. So
Yeah, maybe we should copy the public ID.
Let's look at this server because it looks like everything there is good. So this one, security, then security group, inbound, allow all traffic from everywhere. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the command to actually run. I think we are having problems with command to run the script from mobile extension.
On mobile extension?
To run the shell script.
We're not hearing you. I not very clear. Okay, so we got that right. This, then this, and then we'll copy this, and then the name of the file. I don't know what we're doing wrong. Yeah. What's your suggestion?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm typing it. Since you can
Oh, okay, yeah. Then bash, we'll copy that.
Can you try another browser? Because that happens a lot.
Everything is good. Okay, let's try. I mean, anything is tryable now. So what's the IP address again?
Please.
I only need 3 or something. I don't know the rest.
Just space. I think that was the last copy you made.
No, it wasn't the last.
Oh.
So let's copy the IP address.
3.84.
I think to run on mobile Excel, if you do /file name.
// where?
Yeah. // then the web server, the shell script name.
So somebody read that test and see. Okay, I think I have an idea what you.
One should be
ls minus LA. So what's the command to run that? Let me copy that.
./.
//
Then the name of the
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that happens sometimes with yes. Yes. Might be. Although I tried it without that it worked, but that's a valid. That's what you mean, right?
Yes, sir.
Then that should be current directory, yeah. What are we
No,
missing?
no, you put the web server, you put the wrong script name.
Okay. Sorry about that. So it should be, we are saying that, where are you looking for the file? The file is in current directory. That's what we're just saying. Don't go everywhere looking for the file. This is where the file is. All right. Switch user to EC2 user. All right. That's valid, but apparently it still didn't work.
I think without.
Let's see.
Do we need to restart the HTTP?
Yeah, maybe we need to restart something. What are we? Yeah, but it's already in the.
It's already.
Yeah. It's already in the script.
We have it on the script already.
Mm-hmm.
Can we try HTTPD instead of enabling all and see if it's going to work?
HTTPD in the script?
No, she's talking about security.
Yes.
Oh, okay, security. Okay, not really.
Yeah. But just
should allow everything. So this one, index. Yeah, that's correct.
Can we check and see if we have the index file?
Okay, let's check manually to see the index file. Yeah, that's good one. So cd var strat. Then where? .html. Oh, sudo. Okay. CD.
Okay.
CD.
Is it working?
Yeah, is it talking? So CD where?
www.
Okay, so so we have to be root to get in here. So let's see. CD. Where is it?
It's not there.
It's not there.
It's not there.
What's our problem then? That's the problem. So what's going on? Why is it not here? CD. CD var, then CD where? ls minus la. Okay, there's something we need to. That means our installation didn't work, because if it installed this, then it should have been there.
Oh,
we never put CD www or CD HTML.
Sir, I think that's the server. You just pick the server. We are using the server 2 now. We installed HTTPD on server 1.
Yeah, but the script is supposed to install HTTPD.
Okay. The script is not.
So our script is not working. Our script is not working.
From systemctl enabled HTTPD, we went straight to echo hello world. So we skipped 2 moves. We didn't go into the CD like she was saying, www, and we didn't go.
No,
to
we don't
CD.
want to. We don't need to CD.
Okay.
We can just send straight away to them. But it's just that something did not work.
Can we check the script again?
Yeah. That's what I'm checking. Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm checking. So the script looks good. So there should be something we should, I think there's something we should do before this, but
I don't think we've seen the script.
Mr. King.
Yeah.
Someone suggested that instead of we running using bash command, that there's a command you just do / the script you want to run. And
No. I know what you're talking about. We'll try that.
We just did that now.
It did the other time. Can we
and
see
I
the
explained that what that means is okay.
Sir, when I did this as a practice, I went back to my server and I refresh it before I copy the public ID and I pause it because this is exactly what he gave me, and I refresh it and recopy it.
So where did you refresh? Was it in cloud that you refreshed?
I go back to AWS.
Okay.
So I refresh it and I recopy the public IP. So that is when it worked.
So you are saying that
I don't know why it's doing that, but
yeah, if
that's what it is.
Not our problem because we did everything right. Okay, let's quickly refresh this. So we go to instance and we say reboot because all right. So we'll lose everything, then we'll start all over. Or could have created a new instance. All right, so we have because when we reboot, our IP address will change. So we have to set up a new link. So let's quickly try that. If it works, fine. If it doesn't work, so we lost connection. So let's set up this server 1. So we lost connection to server 2. Let's quickly get the new IP address. So server 2, are you on? Let's refresh. Excuse me. Okay, so server 2 is on. So public IP address, set up our session. Control V, EC2 user, advanced, class IP, right? Class key. All right. So sudo update. You should have done.
You missed the yum.
Yum. Oh, okay. Okay, we'll try one more time. And then that will be it. If it doesn't work, I'll find out. But I tried it yesterday, it worked fine. So new server. So new script. Let's quickly do the scripts. Let's just copy and paste. So this is my Word document. And then we'll leave this clear. So let's run the script. So what's the name of the script?
Web server.
So let's copy all this. Control C. And then VI. So let's use this. Let's use a different name. ITern. No need for script, just ITern, simple name, .sh. All right. Then insert, paste, escape. We have our script ls minus LA. All right. Oh, okay. You see how the old one. Okay. Okay, so let's make that executable. How do we do that? Sudo chmod mod. Let's do 766
6664
for ITern.sh ls minus LA. So we have our script. Let's run our script. How do we run it? Sudo bash current directory, like somebody suggested, and that is the name of the file. Okay, switch user to EC2 user. Now working. Okay, let's that's the start. Oh, we don't have the new IP address.
Yeah, we have a
Let's
new
read
IP address. 44244.
Okay, the new one. That one, right?
But I'm not
Is it
seeing
retaining? Looks like it retained the same IP address. Would I change Control? Oh, Control V. Ooh,
Can see your
why.
screen, sir.
You can't see my screen. Okay, I'm trying to browse. Share. All right, so still back to this. I don't know why it's not working. So I'll find out why it's not working. But I tried it and it worked. I don't know what I'm doing wrong this
IP address.
I don't know why it's not working. So give me time to find out why it's not working, and then we'll come back to class and then we'll finish that, and then that's the end of class. The only thing we'll have left after that, we just, if we're able to do that, I would have completed the class today. So the only thing I'll do, the reason I set up 2 servers in the first place was to show you how to copy files from one server to another server through SSH. That will not take 30 minutes, all right? So let's take your questions, and then we'll troubleshoot this and come back. I mean, not today, the last class. Where's the last class? On Wednesday.
Wednesday, last class. 31st.
Wednesday, the last class. Huh?
31st.
Yes. So we'll just have maybe 1 hour of class, unless you have questions to keep us busy. We'll be done in 1 hour. In fact, we should have been done today if this thing works today. But it's okay. Let's find out why I didn't. All right, guys. So that's about all the practicals we can do today. Until I come back to you. Let's take your questions.
So with Bean Bash, there's no existing Bean Bash that you have to go to to be able to use the VI.
You mean this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does it have a Bean Bash? Does Bean Bash have a existing file directory? I guess like the config one, configuration.
No, there's no file to configure. No configuration to do. No.
No,
it's not installed. It's already there. It's part of Linux.
Okay.
Part of Linux. This is what when you run your
Hello, sir.
That's where you're. That one just gave me an idea. Let's try that idea. So why don't we do cd bin bash and run? Let's see if we can run from there. Bin bash. Does it have bin bash?
Not a directory.
Oh, it's not the right place. Which bash? It's not even there. No. There's something wrong. There's something I need to install first. cd. cd. Okay, so that's what you get when you do live training. It would have been easier for me to just package this thing, make it work outside of class, and then just present it to you, right? But let's face the problem together, solve it together. We are stronger that way.
Okay.
So Mr. So it looks like the owner of the file is EC2 user. Should it be root or EC2 user?
If it's root, then what they use running scripts.
Gotcha.
They should be able to run script without so it won't help at all if we make it run us. Yeah, got the point, but we'll be breeding you because in reality you are not going to be.
Hello, Mr. Akin.
Yes, sir.
So obviously we're supposed to use this in preparation for AWS to have the good, fundamentals in this. I wanted to ask your opinion on Azure. What do you think about Azure?
Azure, yeah, it's good to have so what we're doing, what I'm doing now, AWS is definitely the biggest. So go first with AWS. Then after AWS, you should maybe learn 1 or 2 more. So what we'll be doing subsequently with your classes, we learn AWS will be the primary tool, and then we'll deploy Kubernetes in Google Cloud because it allows you to, AWS will charge you for Kubernetes services. So we deploy Kubernetes in Google Cloud, and then we look for 1 or 2 things to deploy in Azure, so that at the end of training, you now have experience on all 3 platforms.
Thank you, sir.
because I've been looking for an AWS job, and by the grace of God, I was able to get one in Azure. But
AWS what?
I've been looking for an AWS job, but I was able to get one in Azure.
Oh, beautiful. Azure is even simpler and less stressful. What are you deploying on Azure?
I don't know yet. I'm just doing orientation so far. Nothing with the job so far.
Okay.
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, Microsoft is generally, AWS is more robust because they are first, but Microsoft is very friendly. Yeah, it's a good one. I have many trainers who deploy Kubernetes on Azure and then deploy S3 on, so they use a combination of at least 2 cloud providers. So it's a good one. Yeah, we'll find something to deploy in Azure. And I also have materials that will be helpful, even if we don't practice them in class. Straight to the point materials of enter this command to get this. I have it on Azure, so I share that. Yes.
Mr. Akin.
I have a lot of materials. I have a lot of materials that if I give to you, you know even so depending on what you need, I will be able to customize materials for you after the training. Not after Linux. So you are not my student as Linux person. I hope you know.
Of course.
I'm talking about people who would go all the way to become DevOps engineer.
No, sir. What of the people that will stop at AWS?
Whatever we can do, we do. But my focus is DevOps engineering. So unless you really do DevOps, I don't have much. So these materials and the resume building and the contact to job is built around the DevOps curriculum. So I may not be able to offer much since I'm already offering everything on that DevOps. But whatever it is that we can still share, I will share. But not much.
Okay, I have a question on what we did today.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed that you were able to switch user to root without prompt for password. Can you explain why that is?
That's how it is with, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
That's how it is with cloud, with AWS.
I see, okay.
Yeah, that's the default state. However, in operations, you definitely don't want to add a password so that not this is.
Sir, I noticed one thing. Sorry to draw you back. Anytime you put the sudo bash, probably the script, you switch back to EC2 user. What's the idea?
It's something about the bash. Yeah, but what's the explanation now? Let me find an explanation for you. But that's how bash operates.
Take it to root, then you switch back again.
Yes, once you switch back again, I expect it now to display some output to show me that the back is working. That was what happened yesterday when I practiced. It just showed me, and I already knew. I didn't even have to go and browse. I already saw on the screen.
Okay.
It worked. Yeah. So every time I do that and I don't see it, that's when I know. But just to prove to you that it's not working, I'll have to go there to see.
Okay.
It was so smooth yesterday, and the whole thing was just in less than one smaller than millisecond. 1 microsecond, everything was up and ready. So I will get it today. All right, so
excuse me, sir.
Let's yeah.
Yeah, please. I'm sorry. Please, can you explain the primary purpose of bash?
Bash is for automation, so that this process we went through when we set up our first. Were you in class then? When we set up our first web server, when we did all of this manually. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
When I was explaining. So we just want to automate that process so that we don't have to do all of this one by one like we did the first time. We'll just run this file, and the file in 1 centisecond will do all of this for us because the commands are already inside the file. And all we just do is go to the browser and browse, and everything's already there. Okay. So it automates the whole, this is manual process. Entering, waiting for answer, and doing the next is manual.
Process.
Okay.
So to automate that, we put everything in a script, and the script will run everything by itself without any human intervention. So all we just do is go get the ready-made food and we eat. We are not in the kitchen cooking anymore. like we did.
Right. Thank you, sir.
So what's the IP we're trying to work on? I just want to see, try.
The IP address? Okay. So that's, who is this female that's contributing? What's your name, Ma? Is that Mo?
Dio.
Oh, Dio. Oh, okay. Dio, you're taking over from Mo now. All right. So, yes. Can you see?
Yes.
3.84.27.13.
Okay. It didn't work.
Yeah, okay. Don't worry. It will
So,
work.
I have a quick
Yes.
question, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I noticed that the other time we had to go to the group, is a policy now, to change the
the security group to allow.
The security group, yeah, to allow. Can we do that also? Can we include that in the bash or do it from,
From CLI? Yes.
Yeah, from CLI.
Yes. Infrastructure as code will allow us to do that from CLI.
Okay.
Not bash. That one is not bash work.
Okay.
Bash is just to automate your Linux command.
Okay,
I mean script, bash script.
Thank you.
All right, so that's it, guys, for now. But if you have questions, I can see. We still have 6 minutes.
Hello, Mr. Akin.
Yeah.
Well, so far, I'm kind of enjoyed the way you have been teaching Linux, especially sometimes you paint a scenario and, practical way, how it's going to be in the real world. So my question is, somebody like me, pretty new in IT and also in Linux. So once I'm done with this, is there any short literature? I don't want to say textbook. Is there any small kind of a snack size of Linux that I can begin to also read and apply it so that I would be able to get so comfortable? So that is my question, because there's a lot of them on Amazon. I'm not going to lie, but I just want to hear from you.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I try to provide by the manual.
Okay.
So I've read all of the many books here and there. I even have some in front of me. Although this days I hardly, most of the resources are already online, so I hardly deal with hard copies.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, so I just go there, copy from here, extract from there. I also listen to other trainers. Yeah.
I thought that's much.
So my manual will be the best for that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I got lost at the whole bash scripting thing.
Oh, so lucky you, because we are going to repeat this in the next one.
Oh, okay.
Because of the failure we had.
All right.
Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate all what you've been doing.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Akin, can we check if like the HTTP service is running?
Don't worry, we have only 4 minutes. Let's just do it next time.
Okay.
Let's do it on Wednesday.
And can I ask a question related to the channel?
Channel, okay.
I'm just wondering why you intend to nuke that channel after this.
The group?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I have other classes that I want to focus on. I cannot be monitoring classes already. So luckily for you, you have these videos. So, yeah.
All right.
Before somebody come and accuse me now, why do you leave channel and you are not employing somebody to? So let's just shut it so that you guys can focus. No hard feelings, nothing.
Yeah.
Not like I don't like you guys around, but I just want to be relieved of that responsibility. And it's a good thing you're already coordinating and helping yourself. So yeah, it's good. It's networking. Before you know it, in another 3-4 months, depending on what you are learning, some of you will be employed. So good to have a forum where you can share ideas, interview questions, and so on. All right. So finally, I'm gonna let you go now. 3 minutes before time.
All right.
If it was video now, then I would be looking at your faces. What is showing there? Even where's the man that used to show his face? It's not here today. Even the owner. Oh, now where are you? You're Moseli, right? Where are you? Ohio or where? Or Maryland?
Moseli.
You're Moseli, you're muted. Can't hear.
Actually, can I quickly answer?
I'm in Pittsburgh. Ohio. I'm in Ohio and Pittsburgh. That's my.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's why I can.
I'll try to talk on Wednesday. I'll talk to you, Charles.
Oh, okay. I'm waiting now.
No, please.
I'm waiting to be talked to.
Yeah, yeah.
For every talk is $200 per hour, so it's good to.
I do man, I do with negotiator.
You know, a Jebu man. Now. Why? Well, they spend it to money.
Man.
Yeah, Solomon Adebayo wanted to say something. Oh no,
I say, are you an Ijebu man?
If you want a Jebu man, you know people that are doing this training for 10 times my fee now. You know them. You don't know them.
I was about to say that though.
God bless.
You don't know where I've been.
We need more of you around.
If you want a Jebu man, go and meet them.
So I know I'm very happy for this program. Is that we've seen it's like the Cameroonians and some other countries, they are doing it basically from the people. We'll be in Pittsburgh, yeah.
Okay.
It's like the Nigeria is shortfall of it. And again, they only do Linux for the past 2 years plus. But the way you bring it to bear is like, okay, you see somebody explain it like something very natural and easy to understand. Some I just read before I don't understand. Now I just won't get it on my head. Okay, I'll say it be okay. So,
Mr. King is very, very good. Yes.
Very, very good.
Thank you, guys. And actually, we're trying to use you guys to build this community. You know, it's not everything that I will say as a trainer, but in the back end, we build community where you can network. Once somebody gets a job, he gives the other person the clue. This is how we do. Just network, help your brother get there. And by the time you stay in that network for 2-3 years, everybody should. I mean, the left watches the right watches the left. Everybody becomes.
I wish we all have this mentality.
Yeah, people are happy. Yeah, people are happy themselves in the network.
We Nigerians are not that way. People
we're happy.
Like
there are young guys who complete training, they get job. You know, in the background, I just deliberately don't want to be part of it. But a lot of things.
I think I understand what that gentleman was trying to say, which is true, which is very true.
Very, very true.
Our community, it depends on where you are. Some people in Texas, they do help themselves. In New Jersey, it's not like that. When it comes to Nigerian community, that gentleman, I understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. More blessings. More blessings.
All right, guys. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you for this.
Thank you. See you Wednesday.
Good night.
Have a great night.
All right, thank you.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye now.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, sir.
Mr. King, thank you so much.
The video will be available today, sir.
You're welcome, Arinze. Yeah, in 2 hours, the video should be up. Just use your regular link.
Thank you and God bless you.
You're welcome.